to say. Tryna make amends and stay alive. Heard some snakes is coming towards my way. Take a mongoose close down 85. We go then. We go. We go then. We go. Remember love in the summer. Take you to the cinema. Yellow halo above ya. It's something bigger than us. It's bigger than love. We go. We go then. We go.
Yes. Welcome back. You are welcoming back. We are welcoming you back to the Block is Hot podcast. I am your host, Famous Amos, a.k.a. the Unidentified Black Male, a.k.a. Mr. Unidentified, a.k.a. your mother's last mistake, a.k.a. Soul Brother number 3, a.k.a. Billy Bordeaux. And last but not least, Pinky. And here is always, sometimes when he's not bailing, my co-host.
Damn, the never but hurt, it's Tim Red Hose. Damn, I get no air horns?
Yeah, air horns.
Those shits are so low. It's all good. Anyway, a.k.a. George Hooney. Yeah, there we go. That's what I want. A.k.a. Hoonius Ferg. Oh, excuse me. A.k.a. I got kush in my lungs. A.k.a. Young Plato got stacks. A.k.a. Young Timmy Bust Nuts. And, of course, a.k.a. the youngest never do L, Young Timmy Tidwell, that has the big swells. And check this motherfucker out to my left.
Well,
yo, what is good, blockheads? It's Tom again. Still no alias.
we'll fix that someday.
Young Tom the Hoon.
Tom the Hoon.
But I gotta say, Tim, you're coughing off this new vape. Like, you've heard all this shit going on in the news. You feel alright with that?
I don't watch
Let's
the news.
get into it.
I'll put it that way. I do not watch the news, so I don't know.
So you're uninformed is what you're saying.
No, that's why I leave it to my friends to inform me on what's important in the world.
So your answer was yes, I'm uninformed.
No, I let my friends inform me about what's going on in the world. I'm probably going to leave this podcast a lot more informed than I would have been any other day.
That's good. Surround yourself with people
should.
smarter than yourself.
Yeah, I'm not doing too great right now then.
We'll drop some knowledge on him. Your boy Tom is in the building.
Well, I don't know much, but if you Google search some things about vapes, I'm sure you would all know that they're having some hype about not being safe lately.
I feel like I've seen this kind of coming. I mean, I'm looking at that shit, and I don't feel like regular, normal weed, even if you turn it into wax, does that. That looks like there's a lot of sugar and whatnot in it.
Well, it's okay.
Probably
Because
true, yeah.
it sounds like none of us are really all that well versed on the subject of these vapes. All I know is that they have some type of vitamin E compound in there that apparently can cause some fucked up shit to your lungs. Before we go ahead and touch on any more subjects, I just want to remind the blockheads out there what the book of the month is for the month of October 2019. That book is going to be Fear and Loathing on the Campaign Trail of 1972. Go ahead and check that out. It's by Hunter S. Thompson. $10.99 on Amazon. We'll be discussing that later on next month. That was a viewer recommended book. Keep that in mind. Comic book of the week. There is no comic book unless Tim has something on his mind that he'd like to get off his chest.
I've been waiting to tell you guys about this shit. It's called Uzumaki or Uzumaki. I'm not sure how to pronounce it. It's a manga. Ouch. And I haven't finished it yet, but it's pretty fucking dope. I really like the animations that they used. Like, they're very expressive with their tongue movements in this manga.
But it's a book.
Yeah.
So how they just really accentuate the tongue?
Yeah, it's wild. You gotta look at it. Like,
All right, I'll check it out.
It's fucking crazy.
Because, my characters accentuate the tongue. Look at Sammy.
As the one time there's no Sammy picture.
I know,
around.
wow. It's like the one time there's like no.
Okay, guys. Yeah, actually, yeah, you're absolutely right. Yeah. He does accentuate the tongue, but theirs isn't. Yeah, their tongue kind of does that sometimes, but they do wild things with their tongues. It kind of grosses you out in a while.
I was always a fan of Ed, and Eddie growing up.
They were tongue people.
Yep.
Those three boys had very wet mouths.
That and the whole Jawbreaker thing, because I loved Jawbreakers as a kid too.
Yeah, their shits look painful though. I never wanted one of those Jawbreakers. I was like,
imagine getting fucking punched in the face while having a Jawbreaker, get your teeth knocked out.
Bruh, imagine like swallowing a Jawbreaker and just choking on that big old bitch.
That was the whole premise of a movie called Jawbreaker.
I remember that. I actually never seen that movie, but yeah, definitely that's a '90s movie for sure.
Well, shit. I mean, for those that don't remember, Tom, tell us a little bit about yourself before we go and dive into more topics and situations on the Block is Hot podcast. Go follow us someplace.
Well, I've been a friend of these fellow blockheads for many years now. For the past 5 or so years, I've spent a lot of time just traveling across the world, growing some weed here and there when I can.
They've been growing some weed.
I mean, legally.
Granted, for those of you that are listening, this is the state of California where legal marijuana can be grown. It is not against the law. So
yeah, fuck off YouTube. You can't get us on that law. Oh no, my beer.
they'll try.
Yeah, don't spill your beer. And yeah, so I'm here to talk about all things travel, cars, video games. I'm not too up to date on world news, but I can surely give you my uneducated opinion.
That's all we're about. This is barbershop talk. We're not trying to break people down and break news stories. We're just trying to give opinions based on stories that we see. We like to connect the dots within conspiracies, you know. Oh, this happened with this happened. Like, we still haven't gotten any information on Jeffrey Epstein and his death and that trial and all the people that were supposed to be testified against.
Did you ever read that?
Did
you ever read into a little bit of it? Like,
I'm still looking at it. I'm just waiting.
Did you find out about like the shit that like wasn't going on that should have been going on while he was being watched because since he was supposed to be on suicide watch?
No, what happened? What checks were failed?
So pretty much there's a guard that was supposed to walk through that never walked through. There's also cameras that were supposed to be like on in that sector of his like
of his cell
of his container, and pretty much none of that happened. none of that happened. Somebody walked in, ta 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 ta. But yeah, I guess there's going to be more to be said about that.
Interesting. We'll never know until they want us to know.
I don't think we get to find
I
out.
don't think we ever will know.
Yeah, they don't get to let us find out.
So, what do you think about the idea of fake news, Tom?
Be more specific.
Well, I have a story in front of me about a Tasmanian tiger that says, and it's by Fox News. It says, Tasmanian tiger seen 80 years after it was thought to have gone extinct. And then it says, report. In the report, it says, nearly 80 years after it's thought to have gone extinct, multiple witnesses have reported seeing a Tasmanian tiger. Now, in the report, these sightings are speculation. There's no photos. One man says to have claimed he saw a footprint. One man said he saw the tiger 7 years ago. No real occurrence, but it has a clickbait title that makes you think that you're going to see a photo of a newly captured or a newly seen in the wild, Tasmanian tiger.
Now, I think it's also important to cite who made this article. It's Fox News, which is a reputable source, not a random conspiracy website. So you would expect them to have more factual evidence. But and the way they word this article makes it seem factual. Like this Tasmanian tiger, quote, Tasmanian tiger seen
80 years,
Yeah, so quote, Tasmanian tiger seen. But there is no evidence of it at all. In the article, then it goes on to say, a man claimed to have seen one. A footprint, so even. Not even the actual one itself.
And who the fuck can point out a footprint from something that supposedly hasn't been seen in 80 years?
So
that could be a dog.
On the topic of fake news, this is fake news. It is completely clickbait sensationalism by Fox News trying to make this article seem more than it is. It's like it would be no different than saying Bigfoot seen, and then when you go read the article it says Bigfoot was claimed to have seen by a couple or whatever. It's
this is one of many things. So I wanted to bring up the situation of Facebook now having a third-party moderator that's going to start placing on advertisements for political figures. Not even just that, but let's just say you have a diesel-fueled engine that can be fuel economy friendly and all that, but it doesn't go with the current hybrid model. They'll try to make your science and facts seem unfactual, but you're an engineer. And you're saying, I created a diesel engine that's actually, it's not the end all be all, but it's way better than the diesel engines we have now. It can use corn oil or whatever, is like the alternative. They're now hiring a third party to monitor what is called truth. Who puts the checks and balances of that company that's going to now regulate what's called truth? Do you think that should be something that should be put in place? Should we have companies that are put in charge of regulating what is called truth?
Absolutely not, no. Because are you going to trust those companies?
Well, I still have the mind of a conspiracy theorist and a free thought, so I'm always going to be wary of who's regulating what is called truth.
And what is the point? Even if you
did
have
ad revenues
companies,
in dollars and monetization values.
I don't see the benefit.
Well, imagine this, and I don't know if you've already known this, but I'm pretty sure you do. I'm a part of the flat earth side of science, and not so that other science isn't reputable, but just that.
And I should state, as a traveler, I am on the other side of that, firmly on the globe theory. you know, the one that most of us.
But who's to say that, we don't have the right to question the foundations that science is built upon? I'm not saying that it's a fact, but I think that you shouldn't ridicule that question of, is it flat? It's like, we know for a fact, but the proof and the evidence that's there is very limited, as far as what should be there isn't there. And that's a whole other avenue. But when it comes to stories like this, trying to provoke the thought of a tiger that's been extinct roughly for about 80 years has now been seen without factual evidence from a so-called reputable source on a digital platform, where tomorrow this article could be scrubbed and they can try to remove it and, say that was a retracted article, but it's not the same as like print.
Well, want to know something?
Yeah.
I feel like part of what this is because, like, apparently back in like 2003 there was actually a court ruling that went in where basically it determined if the media could lie legally, and ultimately yes, they can.
Well, yeah, even think about cops. When you think about it, not to shit on cops, because I know I put a post up earlier where it had, the thin white, the thin blue flag and a Crip and a Blood flag, and then the whole gangs and Crips equivalent, because they are the same thing. But when it comes down to it, go back to what you were saying, just so I can tie it back in.
I was saying that legally the media could lie.
Cops can legally lie to you. Like cops will say that they're your friend and that they're there to help you, but at the same time, a cop is trained in the interrogation process. They're trained to lie to you, to get you to confess to something, whether or not, because they're all about convictions. And you can see on Netflix, if you want, convictions or confessions from people that didn't do it, but then the cops coerced them, or people that have had illegal tactics used on them to give confessions. So that's what I'm saying. It's like the government can lie to you when it's convenient. There's a recent case in in Orange County where this band was performing at a skate park, and they were doing a scene, and I guess this baseball coach that was a cop off duty goes up and says, "Hey, can you turn the music down?" They comply. All right, yeah, sorry about that. But they don't know he's a cop yet. They just think he's just some guy coming in to ask them to turn the music down. Again, they're shooting their video. It gets out of hand. He comes back over and says, you got to shut it down. Before it gets, you can see the video. He's being really combative. The guys he's putting his hand out, say, like, stop walking towards me. And then, like, the kid, eventually pulls back and gets his skateboard ready to hit him, because it's like they're saying, like, yo, back up. What are you doing? These are 16-year-old kids. Guy pulls out his gun. Kid immediately, like, reacts like, oh, shit, this is escalating. And then he pulls out his badge. Like, wouldn't you pull out your badge first? And the cops using the excuse of nothing happened, why are you treating it like it's a big deal? Well, that same excuse can't be used on the average citizen when something happens and then the cops get called and it's like nothing happened, it's not a big deal. It's like, no, you're still going to jail, or you're still getting a ticket.
Yeah.
So why should that same excuse be used for this officer who pulled a gun on a 16-year-old and fucking was saying, oh, it's okay, nothing bad happened, no one got shot? But it's like, no, you didn't think to pull out your badge first and say, hey, I'm a cop, let's tone it down a bit. Because if you'd have pulled out your badge around a bunch of 16-year-olds, they're going to be like, oh, shit, this dude's a cop, whatever. But, like, you pull out the gun first.
Going on is that they're not held to the same accountability as we are. They just manage each other, whereas they manage us. So it's easy. It's kind of like if you're a slave owner, you're going to talk down to the slaves.
But it's the tide turning, like we saw with Amber Geiger. She got convicted of murder, and then I believe another police officer in Texas got convicted of murder for murdering that woman inside of her home.
I feel like that's where we ultimately could be going, since there is so many cameras around, and they are asking to and the police are being asked to wear the body cams, and all this is going on. Everybody's having different perspectives, and
it's hard to get away with anything nowadays, including the police.
Or petty crimes, like, of anything. Like, you can't be a real petty criminal these days. Like, Imagine trying to pickpocket or rob someone today. It's like, fam, you're going to jail.
Somebody probably got you. And that's ultimately what the whole, like, Psychopaths was about.
Oh, yeah,
Building
you're
a
right.
system that's so
You're right.
strong that, like, there's just cameras everywhere, even unintentionally. You're always being watched. There's a camera within a street corner that could see you doing whatever you are.
Speaking of all this, not to cut you off, have you been to China, Thomas?
No, I have never traveled within China. I've only had many layovers within their airports.
Do you plan on traveling to China, or do you have any interest right now?
If I have a friend who is from there and they're familiar with there and they want to take me on a trip that, there, then yes, I would. But other than that, no, I don't really have any interest in going on my own as a tourist and visiting China, no.
Okay.
I agree with that.
I mean, I've
I always wanted to go.
once their shit cools over, because I mean, again, it's a communist country, so I really don't have that much interest on that stance. Like, I would love to go there for the culture. Like, again, Chinese history is still very rich and very interesting, but at the same time, with the current climate, I don't want to put that much into it.
Their airports in themselves have left a very sour taste.
Drop knowledge.
They have holes for the toilet.
Well, if any of you were listening
I don't
to the
think
last
yeah.
podcast,
Tim wasn't here for that one.
I spoke a bit on one incident where they kept us for 5 hours in a waiting room without any knowledge of what we were doing there for any reason.
Wow. Did you miss your flight?
No. At the last minute, the very last minute, they held the entire plane. At the very last minute, they let us go through. We were essentially sitting on the floor for just 5 hours.
The fuck?
But the rest of the times, you have to go through hours and hours of customs, and it's just not a pleasant experience.
That seems kind of fucked up.
Do you think they have to be more advanced than us, right?
They are. You know this.
So whatever
Well,
we're
what do you mean by more advanced?
technology-wise, security-wise,
No.
police.
That's one thing. Everyone across the world is equally advanced. We all have the same shit.
Nah, I'm pretty sure we're way better than like Somalia.
Well, you know what I mean.
Them niggas still got
If you're
pirates,
comparing-
fam.
if you're
Pirates.
comparing, like world powers, like we all have the same technology. We all have the access to the same shit. For the most part, on a basic level, I'm talking about airports. Obviously,
I'm pretty sure we bang on Mexico.
What I'm asking, I think,
Yes.
I think what I'm asking is, oh, I lost it. No, I didn't lose it. What I'm asking is, since they're a communist country, do you think they're able to just here? They have to try to vote things in here and there, try to slip it under people without them noticing. Do you think over there they're just like, yo, we're doing this? And it's
Oh
that's what's
yeah,
happening.
definitely. They're way less subtle about their gangster in other countries. Think about it. Like they're not as polite as to say we're trying to pass a bill that's gonna fuck you over. They're just saying no. We passed a bill yesterday. It is what it is. That's why people are rioting right now. I think it's in Brazil or Venezuela about the I may be wrong about the it's the increased tax in their transit fare for their subway lines.
Yeah, I've seen that shit.
That's why they're rioting, because it's like, yo, overnight they didn't fucking care about the people.
Mm-hmm.
They just passed some shit, and now everyone's budget is affected. You know, again, that's just another reason why niggas just got to get fixed gear bikes.
what?
You tied that back around really cool.
Hey, again,
You know what's interesting? I saw an article the other day where Japan, there was a road destroyed by a landslide, a complete side of a freeway, and within 12 hours, the entire thing was reconstructed.
that's efficiency.
What the fuck?
And I've seen it in person. When I was in Japan myself, in Osaka, there is a 30-foot hole in the ground, And the next morning when I woke up at my hotel, the entire thing was paved through. Perfect sidewalk.
Dude, and what the fuck is going on?
If that was the United States, that'd be a project for like a few months just to fix that hole.
Bruh, check out Hacienda. All that area.
That shit's so fucked up
that
after
shit's
the
been
60s.
under construction
It's
for
been
like...
going on for
It's
10
to build
plus
a
years.
15
to build a
years.
bridge.
As long as I've lived here.
Yeah.
That's putting kids through college right there.
That shit's been going down since I was in elementary school.
It is what it is, though. I mean,
Motherfucker.
that's their tax dollars because I don't live in that city.
Take your
Like,
time.
yeah, take your time. That's your.
I sometimes think that maybe there's like a magic explosion going on there, and like monsters from another portal are entering our dimension through.
From Hacienda?
Yeah,
What
and
the
that's
fuck?
that's why there's so much construction. And shit
That is
going
a
on
wild thought.
That's a why. Yeah, I mean, I understand where you're coming from because I've watched enough anime in my lifetime, but. What would make Hacienda so poppin'? I feel like it would be like more in the hills by the mountains.
You know what?
It just happens to land where it's at.
You remember those straight Tokyo drift style car meets we used to go to, dog?
Yeah,
Yeah.
those shits were fun.
Oh man, those are fun. La Puente
Yeah, that shit was
at
fun.
the Home Depot.
So, let the
man.
fans know, Tim, about your car and what your status is. Is that shit about to explode?
No, it's actually doing really good.
Are you lying?
No, I'm.
It's okay. You can blink twice if you're
No, I'm
lying.
dead serious. Fucking oil pressure's been holding. Oil pressure's been holding perfectly. I've been losing oil, but like it's through like it leaks out and
Your engine naturally burns oil though, kind of fast.
no, I've got that fixed. It's actually pretty good.
Did you get the catch can installed?
No,
You s-
you don't
I've
need
heard, I've heard if you get a catch can installed, it helps
So for
that.
for the viewers, you're talking about the VQ35
Yes.
DE, right?
Rev up. Yes.
Is it a HR or a DE?
No, DE rev up. So it's not a regular DE. But yeah, I mean that shit. The whole block's been fine. Fucking, there's a little bit of a oil leak out the cam bearing, like towards the front, and I pretty much I put it together with Halimar, and it was only one side. And then after I realized the Halimar wasn't going to hold, I went back and put actual RTV seal in, and now I have a mystery drip. I'll call it. It's not heavy, but it's just enough. But it's coming.
From where?
It's in the back of the intake manifold. So like closest to the driver, the intake manifold. And I can't see I can't figure out where the oil is.
leak.
Yeah, just a very slight one. Like it's dripping from somewhere. I can't tell where because there's no oil lines around that area. So
We always have terrible luck with cars.
I mean, besides that, mine's holding very, very nice.
With the exception of my truck, I think actually no, I take that back. My luck with cars.
We're also some cheap sons of bitches sometimes.
That is true.
That's why we do the work ourselves.
My truck in Camry was phenomenal, but my 240 has taken a shit on me, and that's the only car that I purchased.
What do they say the 3 rules of upgrading cars is? You can have 2 out of the 3, but not all 3.
Yeah, the builder's triangle.
Mm-hmm.
Once you start to sway on the builder's triangle, something loses its structure. If you go high, you're gonna lose something from one side.
Oh, yeah. That's why you just don't make it fast enough.
You can have high horsepower and
Have it
high
be-
reliability, but it won't be cheap.
Or you go.
You can have cheap and high horsepower, but it won't be reliable.
And that was us. And that was fun.
Yo, my shit's
30 pounds
Yo,
of boost
hold on. But don't get it
in
twisted.
a KA.
I know they're talking about all this negative shit, but all y'all blockheads know my shit's fucking running peachy right now.
No,
And
it's not.
But
Yes,
is
it
it
is.
really?
Did you get your exhaust fixed?
No, that's coming. Catalytic converters are expensive. I'm about to get high flow cats.
But as a segue from your VQ 35DE,
Rev up. VQ35.
It's a rev up.
DE rev up, yeah.
oh, my bad.
Yeah,
I'm
get-
sorry.
Get that shit right.
Is there really much of a difference between the normal and the rev?
5,000 more or 500 more RPM.
5,000 more hundred.
No, I meant 500 more RPM.
Oh, okay.
And
Yeah, 5,000
You
is a big
have-
ass number, Tim.
you
Didn't want
have-
you to fuck that up on recording.
you have intake and exhaust VTC, and it's also 300 horsepower, but like
Oh, what, my nigga?
264 torque. While the normal D is 274 horsepower and like
AKA peanuts.
peanuts. All you get is more rev slightly.
But that more revs is a higher vroom, vroom.
What the fuck did you mean by that, kid?
That's all I can
More
say.
party time in your pants.
Yeah, I like more party time in my pants. More party time in my pants is really nice. That's the main reason why I wanted that one.
But let the man speak.
My bad. Oh, Jesus Christ. No need to get aggressive.
I'll cut you.
I'll
Well,
throw my phone
just
at you.
recently, a
Yes.
VG30, which is an old school Nissan engine, just broke a world record with 785 horsepower on the stock block,
What is that? A Z32
going
with how
low
much?
into the 8 seconds in the quarter mile.
That's fucking nuts.
How much on the stock block?
785 wheel horsepower, engine unopened. I believe it's, don't quote me on this, you guys should look it up on YouTube, that racing channel, Devil Z. But I believe the stock head as well, unopened.
Oh, get the fuck out of here. What, they just boosted
so
the
everyone
tits
loves
off
to
of it?
talk about the 2JZ, the RB26, but
The VG goes on.
the
I'm talking about.
VG30 makes immense power.
Uh-huh.
It's super strong. Problem is they didn't produce nearly as many as the other engines, so they're not quite as common.
I feel like it's also just an easier time working on an inline engine compared to a V-styled engine.
Yeah, for
because
sure.
you got the two heads.
The
all
300ZX was not... It was known for being the most technologically advanced car of its time.
Yeah,
But
yeah,
with that came hard to be worked on.
and
The
limited
engine
space in the
space
engine
was
bay.
very cramped.
Yes.
Not an easy car to work on.
And they haven't changed that in the Z or the 70.
But
or
in
the
many
50
ways
or the 70.
nowadays, if you're able to ditch all those old school technological doodads and
It's just running off
just
one
go
tune.
modern fuel injection,
Mhm.
modern turbos, you're set. I mean, you've got a fucking monster.
Yeah, I fuck with that. It took them
I mean,
practically 20 years for them to
let's be
figure out
honest.
how to crack the.
I mean,
actual
you've got a
tuning of the
modern
engine.
Nissan V6,
Yes.
and you would take the old school one in a heartbeat, huh?
Oh yeah, those things are sex. Those
See,
things
that's
are
something to be said.
fucking
He's got a modern new one, and without even thinking about it, he would take the one from.
They
10
got two
plus 20
turbos
years
and
ago.
they look like sex, especially not the 2x2 or the 2+2s. Fuck the 2+2.
It's a different type of car from a different type of era that was. They used the Ferrari. They used those lights on a Ferrari.
No, yeah, not to say they use it like Ferrari use their lights.
Yeah.
Yeah, bingo,
which
bingo.
is kind of
I
awkward.
thought that's what I was saying. They used their lights on a
Yeah,
Ferrari.
pretty much. But
Okay.
which is kind of
Different
weird. There's no
connotations.
really reason Ferrari to do that. They
Yeah, I
were
wanna
just kinda-
smoke 'em
they
with
were just
Dom.
kind of convenient.
Yeah, why not?
Yeah, of course. Dom can always smoke.
I
a
mean,
legal.
fucking nigga lives here too. We can't just be like, no, you can't smoke here. I mean, I guess we can. That'd be funny, but.
Did you see him come home?
No.
Oh, whatever.
Yeah, but yeah, that car.
I got a question for
man.
y'all. Okay, you got one style of racing you can get into. If you're like, boom, I want to get into racing, you can get into time attack, grip. You can get into drifting.
Time attack.
You can get into drag racing. You can get into half mile.
Time attack.
Time attack. What about you, Tim?
That's rude. That's a rude question.
Drifting, I feel like, or if you're doing drifting, then that's cool. But the drifting that's celebrated now through Initial D and American style drifting, it's I call it NASCAR drifts because it's just a single basic course, high horsepowers, and then fucking smoking tires. It's more of a showcase. It's not like on some 2Gay shit from Japan where you see them ripping it down a mountain course. It doesn't have to be high horsepower cars and stuff like that. But grip and time attack is always going to be the same. Pure performance on who can grip and get the fastest lap time. Doesn't matter what you have in the car or how it's built. It's like, get your shit popping. But when it comes down to like, unless they have different types of leagues and classifications that are as mainstream, most of these drifts that you see from like Chris Forsberg, Ryan Turk, these guys, it's NASCAR drifts. It's no different than driving a fast car around a circle. You're just on a predetermined track, smoking tires.
I got a question for your question that you just asked, Tom. When you said any style of racing, does that mean we're going to be successful, or does that mean we're just going to have sponsorship the whole way through?
I'm just fucking ballparking, dog. I'm
Okay.
just saying, if you were
Because
a
I'm just
if
saying,
you're a hobbyist,
okay, never mind.
you've
never
got
mind.
fucking
I was about
big
to-
dick money,
I was-
and you just
I was
want
if that
Yeah, grip. If I had
if
big
that-
dick money,
if that-
I'd be in a grip car.
get
a Corvette or a
Like
240.
I'd be down to do
I
like
think I would
Formula
agree.
One or like GT racing. Let's get
World
real.
Time-
Hey,
Yeah,
in the
it's
house
really
is
fascinating
Chef
to me.
Diesel Dom.
You hear that though? Either fucking Formula One or GT racing.
Oh, we can do those types? I thought we were talking about
I
more
mean,
like
if we're going big dick money energy.
if we're going big dick money. No, 'cause I don't know. Formula One be scary as fuck. That'd
Yeah,
be
that's
terrifying.
really-
You'll get used to it. Hopefully.
I mean, we can talk about electric cars in the Volkswagen RDR.
Dog,
That's-
have you
do
seen
know the
have
RDR?
you seen electric motorcycle races? These motherfuckers dip just. Well,
I
there's
have
no-
not seen it. I need to look that up.
It looks
I
so
need to look
fucking
that up.
badass.
But have you heard of the Volkswagen IDR race car? All electric. It has been smashing records all over the fucking
Is it
world.
like 4 batteries or some shit?
I don't know how many batteries it has, dog.
What kind of Volkswagen is it?
It is a fucking race car, is what it is.
But like, what year? What body? What chassis style?
None. Race car. Like, there is no chassis.
What is it racing?
There is no class. It was built to prove what electric vehicles are capable of. It broke the Pikes... You know Pikes Peak in Colorado?
Mm-hmm.
Broke the record, smashed it. This Tiananmen Mountain in China smashed the record. A few other ones smashed it.
So it's kind of doing more of like Pikes Peak style of racing, like off-road racing, all-wheel drive type shit.
So the top speed is only around 150. So in the high-speed courses, like in the Nürburgring, it lacked behind. It came in second behind a Porsche electric vehicle, for the record.
Damn, electric vehicles like are in that point now.
Oh, they're
Which Porsche? Which
So-
Porsche was number one?
this Volkswagen IDR, if I remember off the top of my head, weighs like 1,900 pounds, has insane downforce. It's very small, but the tires are so massive. It's all-wheel drive.
Yes.
It's only the electric engines produce 650 horsepower, but an insane amount of torque. So it's just instant.
It's even.
So that's why it holds the record on Pikes Peak,
It climbs.
because you don't really go past 100 and something miles an hour. It's all about the handling
And it's all
And
in
the
acceleration.
downforce.
It's all instant.
Acceleration out of the corners.
Mm-hmm.
I'm sure you've seen the Camaro that drifts. That's electric.
So yeah, if you listeners go on YouTube, look
it
at
orange?
Volkswagen IDR on the Nürburgring or the Pikes Peak, you could see on the Nürburgring it reaches its top speed around 150, and it won't go any faster. And there are some points where, like, if it went faster,
It's wobbly.
No, it's not wobbly. The amount of downforce is immense.
Oh, well, I can't go past 150.
That's its top speed. Like with the electric motors, same thing with Tesla cars. So I'm sure a lot of people know Tesla cars smashing people on the quarter mile. You know, smashing Hellcats, Ferraris, Lambos. Just
Banging on them.
Embarrassing supercars. But after you get past 100 miles an hour, they don't have that top end. Mm-hmm. They're all acceleration. So, same thing with the Volkswagen race car. The electric motors don't have the top end. They're just pure torque and acceleration.
That's weird. I wonder how big they're going to have to get before they could have that top end speed. Because I know they could go, because we've talked to Fluxy about like his fucking drones and how they instantly get to like 150.
Yeah, with drones as well, the technology is advancing insanely quick. Mm-hmm. Tesla just released an article a few days ago where their new batteries are going to be rated to last 1 million miles.
Jesus fucking Christ.
The current ones are
it's about to be fucking nuts.
The current ones are, I believe, 200,000.
Okay, wait. Like it could in one trip? No. Or just last that long?
They believe it'll last 1 million miles and still hold 90% of its battery capacity.
Fuck a 250,000 mile drivetrain warranty, cuz.
Yeah, that's crazy.
So
banging on 1 million.
Battery electric cars are the way of the future.
But what material and compounds are they using for these batteries now? Are they using lithium ion, or are they using something like...
I really don't know. But I believe it's all right if they can make it last.
Is lithium ion fucked up for the environment?
I don't know. I'm no expert, but I know harvesting these things are not good. Not good at all.
Some deep shit.
They've said that best thing you could do for the environment if you need a car that's a gas saver is buy a 1989 Civic. Buy an old car. Better than buying a Prius.
Damn,
for one, it's already in production. You're not taking any new raw materials out of the earth. Your car is already there. And it still gets 50 MPGs.
Jesus Christ. Yeah. What's that going on over there?
Pot smoke.
Pot smoke in the avenue.
Have you been gaming lately? You still playing your Fallout?
I've been playing a lot of RDR2. I've been replaying it again.
Red Dead Redemption.
Yeah. Oh, I need to get a new hard drive. I've been lagging.
Why don't you just play Tarkov?
Because that game's gay. It's not fun to me.
It's because you're a trash-ass FPS player.
It's because that game's not fun to me.
You're a trash-ass FPS
player. That's how you want to put it.
You've never given it a chance. How many hours have you logged?
Well, it didn't come. I've played a lot of different games. Off of first impressions of that game, it's not that fun.
It's too hard for you. It's okay. Just like you never played Dark Souls.
Look, all right, fam. Just because a game is hard doesn't mean it's fun.
No, just because you can't get hard doesn't mean the game isn't fun.
But I don't know, man. You're weird about it. You're really strange about it.
Nah, I like the challenge.
Yeah, but I mean, just because something's hard doesn't mean it's fun.
Bro, we watch kung fu movies and anime flicks. I love finding a worthy opponent.
That game still sucks.
And then being able to say, haha, I'm better than you, and that's just a part of life.
Put it this way. If that game was so fucking great, why isn't it like Fortnite?
It is.
Nobody's
in its own way.
Nobody's talking about that game.
Well, it's early access.
All you hear about is Fortnite and Minecraft. So that game sucks, dog.
Those games have been released.
Nobody talks about it like COD.
Those games are...
Just accept the fact that your game isn't that great.
It's early access.
It's not that great.
It is. It's
not that great.
You've never played it.
I have played it.
No, you haven't.
I'm sorry. It's not that fun to me.
Rust is the game for real chads that have no life.
Real Chads? You mean incels? Chads have lives.
No.
Yeah, Chads have lives.
You don't know the life of PvP Chad.
The Chads are the successful ones. Apparently, somehow. Chad isn't like... What is Chad short for? Is it chattiest?
No, I think it's just
No, it's just Chad.
What is it? Chad? Who the fuck names their child Chaddington? Yo, is there anyone out there listening that's named Chaddington? Who? That's a crazy name.
I
Chaddington?
fucking hope not.
Chaddington.
That has to be Scottish. Chaddington Van Cooten.
Chaddington Evans. Chaddington.
Chad Chaddington.
Sir.
Jesus Christ.
Oh shit. Sir Chad Chaddington is a world famous mystery solving inspector
That's
slash
somebody on the
detective.
Scooby-Doo machine?
Yeah, it was in this in the Scooby Doo universe.
Jesus Christ, Chad Chaddington.
Sir Chad Chaddington.
Yo, do you know what I found out the other day? Men in Black is Marvel. And so is Kick-Ass.
Wait, really?
Yeah.
That's interesting.
Yeah.
Pot smoke? That shit was fucking incredible. Chad Chaddington.
Jesus. Arthur Chad Chaddington. Okay.
I wish Chad
Shout out
Chaddington was
to
a
all
real
the
person.
Chads. Chaddington.
It's a surname.
That's such a crazy name. So is a Chad Chaddington just Chaddington?
Chaddington.
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 Are they the original Chaddington?
Lanson.
Lanson.
That's some fucking white imperial fucking name. I haven't heard it like.
Lanson or
If
Chaddington?
you ever heard a name where it's like, I'm gonna take over your land, that's his name.
Chaddington.
Chaddington.
Chad Chaddington. He's like, yo, I'm about to rape your women and take your land.
I'm gonna make this. I'm gonna fucking try to make this a meme on fucking Reddit, like the king of the Chads, Chad Chaddington.
Chad Chaddington.
Species: human, gender: male,
It's already like a
hair white, eyes
I
black.
don't know if it's come to other video games, but in Rust, it's a meme. Like, if you're a Chad, you're just like a PvP. That's hard to even put into words. Like
Scooby-Doo is awesome
Like many
show.
memes are, it's hard to even.
Whatever happened to
describe.
the Penis Brothers?
The fuck?
Penis Brothers?
Of course, Tim wants to know.
Yeah,
what
of course
happened.
this nigga wants to know where the penis bro. What the fuck you talking about, nigga? Penis brothers.
Where's the Penis Brothers at?
The fuck? No one's talking about no goddamn penis brothers.
You know what the Penis Brothers are?
Have you ever heard of Thumb Wars?
Oh yeah, I've heard Thumb Wars.
Do you remember this as a kid in all these other movies
Yeah.
with the thumbs?
Mm-hmm. That bat thumb and the orange thing.
Yeah.
I remember that shit back in the day.
Oh man, those movies were epic.
That was on like Showtime and shit. They used to have that show Mr. Hell and all that other
Dude,
crazy
I
cool
had them
shit.
all on fucking VHS and DVD.
That stuff was fucking like you had to know. You had to be in the know back then.
Dude, I had all of them.
Gay.
Tim didn't know about that shit because his parents kept him
Remember-
sheltered.
Kung Fu.
Nah, I just
fucking
didn't watch
Enter the-
dumb
what was
shit
it
like
called?
fucking dumb.
Nigga,
Kung Fu
fight me.
Hidden Tiger. What-
I've tried fighting you. You run.
I don't run. Yo ass is just, you got no stamina.
Ooh, get the samurai swords
that
out.
definitely sounds like you ran. No,
Nah.
we're not getting samurai swords.
Niggas
out.
get poked up every day.
that shit hurt last
What's
time.
good? Last time, that ensues. I mean, that kind of assumes that there's the first time.
Not with me and you, but with me and Brandon. That was it.
Paul did a
That hurt.
whole 2 months of MMA. Watch out.
Yeah.
His Shadow Khan style.
Nah, Shinkindo, that shit was just, time consuming and money. And at the time, I was broke.
Shit. Most hobbies are time consuming. Are you just learning this?
No. It was fucked up. And then we changed our podcast day to Tuesday.
You never said to change it back.
It's all good.
Yeah. Oh, I had had something funny to say, but I forgot it now. I hate when that happens.
Well, what you been up to, dude? Since you've been fucking missing out on your shit, how's stand-up comedy been?
Fucking great, dog. I'm getting funny. My first couple weeks back at it. Well, I should say the first week back at it, I was shit. But I don't know, man. I've been killing it, going to all the spots, trying to do multiple spots every night. It feels good. Trying to get some videos uploaded.
I want a cheesy gordita crunch.
I recorded myself a couple times. I didn't like it.
Crunch Wrap Supreme.
You guys go to Taco Bell?
What?
Go to Yondas, bro. That's right down the street.
Yeah, but I know if I go there, I'm gonna get a lot. I just want one.
What's good with your boy fucking Felipe? And now that you don't live in fucking LA, you go to Yondas now?
It's Paco, nigga. Don't disrespect.
Yeah.
I'll stab the shit out of you.
I haven't been to Deonda's.
What, you're just like, fuck it, I'm not eating Mexican food anymore?
Pretty much. My diet's definitely changed.
You ever been to that Papusa spot?
Las Papupas?
Hey.
Las Papupas?
Hey, Tim, you know what this nigga Dom's been doing?
What?
He's been a part of the dope peddlers.
I never wanted part of that.
We just banged out 32 miles.
Okay, that's cool. Y'all niggas some fat ass motherfuckers anyway. Y'all
I ain't fat. Fuck
y'all
you.
need to lose weight.
Forever?
For a while.
Oh, dirty ass motherfucker.
He had them. They don't have
What happened?
oxtails.
Oh, that shit was fire too.
You went?
I had a few.
Oxtails.
I should have ordered a plate, but I didn't. I was skeptical.
Of oxtails?
Oxtails in Pomona,
Where's
Jamaica.
This? Where's
Yeah,
this at?
I ain't gonna tell you.
Jamaica what?
Shut up! Don't say anything. Fuck this nigga Tim.
Nigga,
He eats
fuck
assholes.
You. Fuck you, nigga. Next time you walk into Pomona, guess who you gotta go through? Me and my niggas.
You ain't got no niggas. Yo niggas is in this room right now.
Fuck you, dog. House of Pong. What's good?
I'll bang on all them niggas. They ain't got no guns.
There might be like me and a couple other ones.
What the hell have you? What are you even saying?
What the hell is even that? That's what you sound like right now. Have you seen that video where the dude's like, Zaddy chill? And he's like, what the hell is even that?
That shit don't make no sense. Shit, do we have anything on the agenda?
Man,
Almost an hour.
we just be potting like a motherfucker.
Elon Musk, he launched his own space internet and was surprised when it worked.
What? Does he just do shit and he's like, damn, I could do
We
that?
talk about how his new spaceship looks like shit you would see at the Jetsons. Like
His designs are unique, but my thing is this.
you seen his new stainless steel shit? It literally looks like some shit you would see out of the fucking cartoon Jetsons.
But here's his
It's
tweet.
like a stainless steel. Google image that shit.
We'll find it.
It's a stainless steel spaceship just out of the.
Yep. I've seen this.
It looks like a traditional ass fucking.
Looks like a fucking silo for grain. And they just put some fins on it.
That shit looks old. Looks like old technology.
Nah, my thing is this, alright?
It looks like something
I
off a
feel like
movie.
they're recreating the past. And I was going to explain this to Tom earlier, but I didn't want to say it and fuck up the surprise. I think that, and Tim, you've heard this before, I think that all Elon Musk's technology that he's designing for is based for either the moon or it's based for Mars, like the boring tunnel, because the amount of radiation on Mars is not acceptable to humans. So that level of radiation will cause harm. So we would need a lot of things built underground and have tunneling systems. We would need to have electric cars and solar paneling, just like the solar panels and the Tesla system that he's been designing. But now, I think that, he just launched internet in the sky. If you would ask all these people when they say how they have internet, a lot of people think that they get their internet from the fucking satellites and just like GPS and all this other shit, which GPS potentially could be high altitude weather balloons. It could be the fiber optic system. It could be ocean buoys off of the coast. That's why after a certain miles off of our coast, signals drop out. There could be other options available for these types of signals, but it seems like Elon Musk is doing all the things in present day that we thought we've always had to begin with, such as supposed internet in the sky. And his tweet even says, it says straight up, hold up, sending this tweet through space via Starlink satellite emoji. Later on, whoa, it worked. Like, he created his own internet base out of 60 satellites, even though 3 aren't working. You know, and he wants to launch thousands of satellites up there.
What are you getting at?
People, I'm just saying that when I say people and the masses, a lot of people think their internet that's on their phone comes from the sky, but it doesn't. It comes from towers that are land-based.
Most of it. Some of our internet does come from satellites in space, but that's our very slow internet. Much of the world does use satellite-based internet. And that's the sad part. Much of the United States use satellite-based internet. If you've got listeners in Montana, in Idaho, many places, they are satellite-based. That's the unfortunate business in the monopoly of United States internet and cell phone coverage. You've got AT&T, Spectrum, Verizon, and only a small handful of companies providing coverage, but the amount of land mass that the United States has and the population centers does not give them an incentive to give high-speed internet to places like Montana, you know, lower population centers out in rural areas. Like, even here in California, in Coachella, the local school district provided